Known for making games that try to blur the lines of video games and movies, Quantic Dream have been making major strides with each release over the last decade. Beyond Two Souls is the culmination of all their mechanics while attempting to fix the problems that have been brought to their attention. Beyond recruits two Hollywood actors in Ellen Page and Willem Dafoe to deliver the most consistent game from the studio, even if it does deliver a few bum lines. In Beyond Two Souls, you control Jodie Holmes and a mysterious entity attached to her called Aiden. The game follows 15 years of her life from the time she really has trouble controlling the entity to adulthood and all the trials and tribulations along the way. Despite feeling inconsistent at times, this journey of Jodie is a great vehicle to feel for her and what she's been through. It's easy to empathise with an innocent child, so a connection is made almost immediately. Her teenage years are her battling with trying to become normal and who she can truly class as friends, while adulthood is all about trust and just how hard it is to find someone you can be emotionally tethered to. Compared to the last couple of Quantic Dream games, the story is much more ambitious and is more intriguing than the others, with no major plot holes. The game jumps back and forth from Jodie being a child, her teenage years and young adulthood. While these jumps are to fill you in on the world and the people around her slowly, it can feel quite disjointed and random. Some of these levels may only last 5 minutes, while others can last for up to 45 minutes with little payoff. It feels like Quantic Dream were going for a drip feed approach to the story, luring you in with every revelation, but it definitely felt a little messy, especially in the middle sections of the game. The story treads some serious tones and moments in the game. This is certainly a mature game for a mature audience. Jodie endures some serious and terrifying moments for a person to face in her life, and although they all occur to strengthen your bond as a player with her, some of it feels like a cheap way to ensure empathy that is thrown at you a couple of times later in the game as a major turning point in her life, but doesn't feel as suitable as a different scenario would have been. Overall though, the story is definitely the strongest the studio has put together. This isn't afraid to go straight for the fictional with the entity Aiden and the direction the game takes, but it is somehow the most human and relatable. Jodie is different, but is still just a regular person wanting to be more normal. You feel for her, and in my playthrough I always felt as though to make choices that strengthened her and almost a sense of protection so I didn't make the wrong decision for her. A lot of this empathy though comes down to the performance from Ellen Page. Throughout the whole game, she puts in an incredible performance that no other actor comes close to. Even when she is in scenes with Willem Dafoe, she is easily steals the scene from him. Unfortunately, despite having a major role in the game, I felt as though Willem Dafoe's performance was more phoned in than Ellen's, but it's still a decent performance nonetheless. Ellen's performance though is some of the best acting I've seen in the game for a long time. Some of the scenarios she's in may seem silly in other games, but the acting from her as well as a much improved directing from David Cage meant that it actually felt fine. Whenever the script may lack or just the scene itself, you're bound to find Ellen's performance carrying the game onwards regardless. Gameplay though is possibly its weakest point. Although improved from previous games from the studio, there are times where the character awkwardly walks in circles as I wrestled with the controls to get the character facing the right direction. It's those instances though that takes the immersion away and makes you realise you are essentially playing an interactive movie. Beyond though is much more of a game than Heavy Rain. You will have direct control over Jodie as she makes her way from cover to cover, taking out enemies in one such mission. This mission though I feel is the weakest in the entire game. Visually I felt as though it's slightly weaker. It drags out far too long and the build up doesn't have any real payoff. Instead it's filler for a twist that happens in another scene. The timed QuickTime events are different too. Rather than telling you the direction, the game will slow down and you must choose the direction based on the animation of Jodie. The problem is some situations, due to the camera, the direction of Jodie may be different to the direction of the body part you are apparently in control of. It certainly took some time to get used to these moments and they were certainly frustrating. Whether you like these games or not, Quantic Dream have made major strides in improving their shortcomings from before. I loved Fahrenheit but was disappointed by Heavy Rain. Beyond Two Souls though was a 10 to 12 hour adventure with a much faster pace than its predecessors. It still has slow moments like cleaning your apartment, but they were to remind you of a character's humanity or normality, not trying to enforce an authentic day-to-day life. Visually this game is nothing short of spectacular. Where Heavy Rain features some weird facial animations, everything is spot on in Beyond Two Souls. It captures the essence of each scene and the detail on the character's face. Lines don't need to be delivered to understand how characters are feeling. Because of this, acted out scenes feel more natural and authentic compared to other games that try to capture emotion. This game gives you some choices along the way and some fail situations that changes small outcomes, but Beyond Two Souls is a much more concentrated game and it's all the better for it. Rather than feeling as though this genre or studio was going nowhere, I'm excited for its next generation's endeavour, but I still question how much better a Quantic Dream game would be with someone else at the helm. For the full written review, head on over to Gamesmack.net.